Good morning everyone, it's Sarah here and welcome back to a study vlog on my channel. As you can see, this video is filmed on August the 7th. It's all about me studying to my absolute death, preparing for the Chinese bar. I don't have time to edit while I was taking it, so here we are. I will be talking about the subjects on the Chinese bar and how I study for each of them. It's giving me painful flashbacks, but hopefully it will give you some motivations. Let's get to it. Let me start by explaining how the Chinese bar works. Basically, we have to take two exams. One is called the objective test and the other is a subjective test. The objective test is 6 hours long and you have to take it in one day, 2 sittings. It's multiple choice only, but it contains 8 freaking subjects and it's also a closed book test. If you passed it, then you're eligible to sign up for the subjective test, which contains 5 questions in a question and answer format. Both tests are only administered once per year, and mind you, in 2024, there are 960,000 people signing up for this exam, and the passing rate is at a shocking 15%. So we're basically fighting an impossible battle. But hey, who wouldn't like a good challenge? Today, I am starting with criminal law. This is one of my favorite while I was doing a JD in Australia. But the Chinese law system is very different from common law. Aside from the basic actus reus and mens rea, they added a lot of different segments. If you're familiar with the common law, you will know that case precedent took up a lot of time during an exam preparation period. But since China has adopted predominantly a civil law approach, everything is laid out in the legislations. Different parts of my brain had to be utilized, so I had to forgo all the foundations that I learned and start from scratch. I usually study for 45 hours in the morning. Since my mind is the sharpest during this time, I will go through all the questions that I got wrong. And then I will usually take a 1-hour break to enjoy some lunch in sunshine. On average, I study for more than 10 hours per day. The hardest thing is not even the long hours, but to fight the urge of taking a nap. I don't know about you guys, but if I had a really brain-wracking morning, which is basically every morning during this period, I will have such a hard time staying focused during the afternoon. A lot of you guys ask me why I do not take a nap and how do I stay conscious for a whole day. I have to say it's pure mind power. There are so many times where I was fighting to keep my mind focused. I just know if I get back home to take a nap, I will never get up. With the exam approaching in 1 month, time is really of essence and I cannot afford to wander around. I got back home at around 7 and at this point I have studied for about 9 hours. My brain is absolutely dead, so I just hop on the walking machine for 30 minutes while watching Stephanie Su's true crime video. It was so relaxing. Later that night, I laid in bed and watched civil procedure lectures for about an hour. For substantive law, such as criminal and civil law, I like to do all the practice questions first. But for procedure law, I will listen to all the lectures beforehand to make sure I know all the steps. On August the 8th, I went through my simple morning routine and arrived at the library at exactly 9 a.m. Yesterday, I finished one chapter of the practice questions on criminal law and consolidated my notes accordingly. But I'm still unsure about some parts of it, so today I need to watch the lectures and then do more practice questions. Guys, every time I feel like I don't want to study or I would just want to pull out my phone and go on social media, I will open the camera and then put my phone aside to record a real-time study with me. This way, not only my phone is occupied, but it will also help me get into the study mood. Before I even noticed, 45 hours will pass like a snap. For the rest of the time that afternoon, I just went through another set of the practice questions. My goal for this week is to completely finish criminal law and then move on to the next subject. To be honest, my daily routine is really dull. It's just a lot of practicing questions and a lot of review. But there's a good saying, consistency is a choice. I believe if you make this choice every day, you can reach your final destination with satisfaction. August the 9th is a Friday, and I just feel like every Friday is the most difficult for me to go to the library just because weekends are so close. But if I want to pass the bar exam, I cannot use shit like this as an excuse. So regardless of my feelings, I dragged my ass to the library and started on reviewing the practice questions. If you're curious about my study methods, I will usually put questions that I got wrong on the left side and open my note document on the right side. Immediately after I reviewed it, I will consolidate my experience into the notes. I know many people who did practice questions so many times, and they're even comparing like, oh, I did 2,000 questions, but it's never about the amount, but the quality of your review. I only did all the questions once, but I completely remember every traps laid under each. If you're using the note consolidation methods, for every questions you got wrong, it became part of your own logic maps. That way, you're not just blindly going through and get them wrong over and over again. For that afternoon, I dealt with some social media collaboration stuff. Sometimes it's so difficult to be a law student as well as running yourself as a brand. But it's all about time management, and I always try my best to make things work. August the 10th is a Saturday. The library has some sort of events, so there are a lot of people around, but ain't no nothing can stop me from studying. I am finally at the home stretch for criminal law. Today, my primary job is to complete the questions for malfeasance. It contains crimes committed by public servants, including judges. Actually, after a whole week of grinding, I am so freaking tired today. I barely had the strength to film anything else, so I just put my phone up and recorded real-time study with me for a whole day. Today's the last day of this hectic week. I should have finished criminal law yesterday, but towards the end, I almost feel like my brain just shut down and I feel like absolute trash for no reason. In consideration of the effectiveness of my studying, I had to stop and resume today on a better note. Luckily, we started off strong. 3 hours in, I completed all of the practice questions for criminal law, organized my notes, listened to the lectures, and criminal law is finally done. On that night, I started to go over all the materials I need to submit for the New York bar exam. Since I am an Australian lawyer, I need to submit documents for the New York bar to determine my eligibility to sit for the exam. For those of you who didn't know, my plan is to be certified as a lawyer in 3 countries: China, Australia, and the US. Call me crazy, but every good journey starts with a dream, and then a plan, and then precise execution. I know I'm not the type to run away from a good challenge. Hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!